featuring Trey Larkins, also on Impact, in the house here at Jazz School. We're here at 610 Northland. Come out and support. We're talking football. It's NFL Week 1. We got a big time matchup tonight, an AFC Championship rematch. Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens taking on Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm going to preview that matchup here in a bit. But also tonight, here at Jazz School, we'll have Winwood's Warriors head coach Chad Murphy and some of his players. The Winwood's Warriors will be in the house. We got senior defensive tackle Justin Hill. We got offensive lineman Raphael Green, defensive tackle Delan Massey Wright, senior running back Landen Anderson, and senior defensive end Delan Cain will be in the house with Wise Guys and on Impact here at Jazz School. Again, 610 Northland, 610 Northland. We are talking some football. Everybody's happy that football is back. We're going into week 3 in high school this week. We're heading into week 2 in college, but it's week 1 of the NFL. So we're here talking some football with the Winwoods Warriors and head coach Chad Murphy of the Winwoods Warriors. They 2-0 on the season. They beat Milford. Oh, I'm sorry, they got Milford this week. They got Milford this week in week 3, but they beat Kings, I believe, in week 2. And in week 1, they beat Springfield. So Winwoods Warriors 2-0 on the season. Week 1 beat Springfield 16-6. Week 2 beat Kings 19-5. So got a few Warriors players going to join us here in a bit. But everybody going to follow Wise Guys and on Impact everywhere on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We live here at Jazz School, 610 Northland. So just support, come out and join us, talk some football. Whether you're a Bengal fan, whether you Steelers fan, whatever, Browns fan, don't matter. Come out and support, talk some football here. I know everybody's here in Cincinnati, excited about the Bengals Week 1 matchup. Bengals play the Patriots Sunday at Paycor Stadium. It's a 1 o'clock kickoff. We still wondering if Jamar Chase will suit up for the Bengals. More than likely he will. He's trying to get a new contract, but we all know Mike Brown doesn't like to give out new contracts once the season starts. So I'm interested to see if the Bengals give Jamar Chase an extension and pay that man the money he deserves. He deserves to be paid. I think Jamar Chase, he got 2 more years left on his deal, but he's sitting around, he's seeing these other top receivers get deals like Justin Jefferson, like Brandon Ayuk, like St. Brown. So Jamar Chase wants some of that money, and I don't blame him. They paid Joe Burrow, and if it wasn't for Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow would be the quarterback that he is. I love Joey B. Joe Burrow is a top 5 quarterback in the NFL, but he would not have the success that he has if it wasn't for Jamar Chase. He could pay Jamar Chase. But Mike Brown, we know he's stubborn. We know how Mike Brown do business. So I'm interested to see if he plays in week 1 against the Patriots and Jamar Chase suits up for the Bengals. But a lot to talk about. We're here live at Jazz Spoon, 610 Northland over at Jazz Spoon with Wise Guys Sports and on Impact. Go and follow us on all social media platforms. And again, the Winwoods Warriors High School, that is, they will be joining us here in a bit. Head coach Chad Murphy will be in the house. So just tune in. We're right here live.
My superpower is probably patience and encouragement. These days, kids are feeling really inadequate. They're not feeling like they have it in them to do something they've never done before. We need to create a place that was hands-on, that was a fun environment, that allowed kids to be creative and allowed kids a safe place to get it wrong. What drives me are those aha moments, those moments where you see the kid, they get it. And I tell you what, I live for that moment. Because when you give them an opportunity to approach it at their level and then add in sprinklings of the challenge, and they've got to kind of race themselves and maybe other students in order to get there, they're tenacious about it. They're excited about it. And when they achieve it, that is the greatest joy. That is what the Cincy STEM Lab is all about. Our job is about helping them build their confidence. It's about making the learning process different, fun, and very approachable. And STEM and science and tech and engineering and math is becoming a lot less scary to them. The problems that we are facing in the 21st century with climate change and access to electricity and energy, these are the jobs that have the money. We have to have all hands on deck for that type of work. And that is what we are here to do, to expose students, no matter how little money you have to how much money you have, how much you think you know and how much you don't know, and to help build their confidence so that they are ready to step out in STEM and say, here I am, this is exactly where I was supposed to be.
Welcome to On Impact Recruiting Services, where we offer all sports, player profiles, personal training, ACT, SAT prep, college tours, sports evaluations, social media, college contacts, and more. Contact CEO Dante Payne at 513-602-7289 or visit the website. We are here to boost your exposure as a student athlete.
While you're on the go, remember Little Caesars is hot and ready. Advertise and grow your business or event with On Impact Promotions, street promotions, social media promotions, email blasts, text blasts, cold calling, live streaming, and more.
And welcome back here, live at the Jazz School, here with Wise Guys Sports. I'm your host, Trey Larkins. We here on Impact as well as in the house. We here live at Jazz School, 610 Northland. 610 Northland, come out and support us. Talk some football. Excited for NFL Week 1. I'm going to preview the Baltimore Ravens and the Kansas City Chiefs here in a bit. But everybody going to follow Wise Guys and On Impact on all social media platforms. And again, in football, right now, this week, we headed to week 3 in high school, week 2 in college, and week 1 in the NFL. Also, here shortly, I'm going to have the Winton Warriors joining me here on set. Head coach Chad Murphy and the Winton Warriors will be here live on set, so I'm excited about that. Again, address 610 Northland. 610 Northland. Let's talk about this matchup tonight. It's an AFC Championship rematch. It's Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens traveling to Kansas City to take on Patrick Mahomes and the defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs are favored by 3 points. It's an 8:20 p.m. kickoff on NBC. The over-under for this matchup is 46.5. So I'm I'm looking at this matchup between the Ravens and the Chiefs. Obviously, last year, the Ravens, they lost to the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game, 17-10. Lamar Jackson, he struggled in that game. And Patrick Mahomes played decent, but the running game for the Chiefs was impressive. The Chiefs played great defense on Lamar Jackson and that Ravens offense. And we look at this matchup tonight in Kansas City at Arrowhead. I'm thinking back to the AFC Championship game, and I thought one of the main reasons why the Ravens lost the AFC Championship game was because they got away from what got them in that position. They wanted Lamar Jackson to beat Tom Brady. Lamar Jackson is never going to beat Tom Brady. And I thought last year in that AFC Championship game, offensive coordinator Todd Monken, head coach John Harbaugh, and Lamar Jackson, they dropped the ball from a game plan perspective because I thought they got away from what got them there. What got him there was Lamar Jackson being able to make plays with his legs and make plays in the open field, show his mobility off, and instead they decided they wanted to throw the ball all over the yard. Last year in the AFC Championship game, Lamar Jackson, he went 20 of 37. He threw for 272 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He was sacked 4 times by that Chiefs defense. Patrick Mahomes, he went 30 of 39. He threw for 241 passing yards, 1 touchdown. Travis Kelce was balling for the Chiefs. 11 receptions, 186 receiving yards, 1 touchdown. I think he had that touchdown on the opening drive for the Chiefs. But I'm looking at this game, and again, Lamar Jackson had 37 pass attempts. And that made no sense to me. That made no sense to me to have 37 pass attempts and only 8 rushing attempts. We all know what makes Lamar Jackson great is his ability to make plays with his legs and show off his mobility. In the AFC Championship game last year, he had 8 carries for 54 rushing yards. You got to have more opportunities for Lamar Jackson to make plays with his legs. I didn't understand the Ravens game plan. And I think that was the biggest reason why they lost the game. You look at the second half. In the second half, the Chiefs didn't score. The Chiefs did not score in the second half. And as I'm watching the game, I'm thinking, okay, this is an opportunity for the Ravens to get back into this game. At halftime, the Chiefs were leading 17-7. So I'm thinking, okay, 17-7, you're going to need more than 17 points to beat Lamar Jackson. At home, in Baltimore, in his house, you're going to need more than 17 points to beat Lamar Jackson. And in the second half, the Ravens can only score 3 points. They can only score 3 points. I remember one possession, Zay Flowers was trash talking Snead, the former Chief. I think he's now a member of the Tennessee Titans. He was a former defensive back for the Chiefs. Zay Flowers catches the pass from Lamar Jackson, and you see him going back and forth, trash talking Snead. And a few plays later, Zay Flowers running into the end zone. Snead punches the ball out, and it's a touchback instead of a touchdown for the Ravens. That was the biggest play of the game in my eyes. Because if the Ravens scored at that moment, it would have put more pressure on the Chiefs, and the Chiefs offensively would have had to make something happen in the second half. So I thought, honestly, in this matchup, the Ravens, not only did they not stick to what got them there in the first place, I thought also overall just how they played, they just mentally weren't there. They weren't there. They had 8 penalties. So you could see the Chiefs were getting in their head. The Chiefs were getting in the Ravens' head last year in the AFC Championship game. And so we look at this matchup tonight, Lamar Jackson versus Patrick Mahomes in prime time on NBC in Arrowhead. I believe that looking at this matchup, the Ravens, they lost some key pieces, especially on the defensive side of the ball. They lost Patrick Queen in the offseason. They lost Jadeveon Clowney as well. They did pick up Derrick Henry at a running back. So Derrick Henry will help them offensively in that running back room. Now, the thing about the Ravens is, the Ravens, because of their elite rushing attack with Lamar Jackson, they never needed an elite running back. But now they got Derrick Henry, and Derrick Henry still has a lot to prove. He wants to prove you still got something left in that tank. So they got Derrick Henry. You still got Zay Flowers. You still got Mark Andrews at tight end. Okay? And they still got John Harbaugh, one of the best coaches in the NFL. So the Ravens, even though they lost some players defensively, I still think the Ravens will be a solid team this year. I think last year they had more of a complete team, but I still think the Baltimore Ravens will be contenders in the AFC. Now, let's talk about the Kansas City Chiefs. Last year, Patrick Mahomes, 27 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, and we all saw throughout the regular season last year, the Chiefs' offense, they were inconsistent all season long. They were inconsistent. But they got to the playoffs, and they went on one of the more impressive runs that I could ever remember. Wild card week, they beat the Miami Dolphins in Kansas City. I expect them to beat Miami because Tua Tagovailoa, he can't play the cold. So I knew the Chiefs were going to beat the Dolphins. But what caught me by surprise was when the Chiefs went to Buffalo and they beat Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills in the divisional round of the playoffs. I think the score was like 27-20. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong about that score, but I think it was like 27-20. And that surprised me because I felt like the Bills were a better football team than the Chiefs were last year. And we had seen the Chiefs struggling all season long, and they get to the playoffs, and Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, it was a lightning switch, and it's like they flipped the switch, and they was able to ball out in the playoffs. And so they beat Josh Allen and the Bills in the second round. They get to the AFC Championship, and they beat Lamar Jackson 17-10, but they brought in some nice pieces for the Chiefs offense. They brought in Xavier Worthy, a nice draft pick who has tremendous speed. Okay? You still got Travis Kelce, one of the best tight ends in the NFL. They re-signed Juju Smith-Schuster. I don't know how good he's going to be. I don't know how much more left he got in the tank. But remember, Juju Smith-Schuster, he was there in 2022 when they won the Super Bowl. He went to the Patriots for a year. I'm pretty sure he didn't like losing. So that's why he came back to the Chiefs. They did release Kadarius Toney, but you still got Scott Moore. You still got Rasheed Rice in that receiver room, okay? And in the backfield, you got Isaiah Pacheco. So this Chiefs offense, they got big expectations this year. Patrick Mahomes, despite them winning the Super Bowl last year, he was frustrated throughout the season. He was frustrated. He was definitely frustrated, and they want to get back to being able to score a lot of points and have a high-powered offense. Last year, the Chiefs' winning formula was playing great defense and winning the football because their passing attack, it wasn't as good in 2023 than it has been in previous years. And I think Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, they want to get back to that high-powered offense where you got to score 30, 35 points to beat the Chiefs. And drafting this young kid, Xavier Worthy, with his speed, also Rasheed Rice, who had a nice rookie season last year, and you still got Travis Kelce, I think it's going to be hard to stop the Chiefs this year. It's going to be hard to stop. And I think you hear a lot of things in the media. People say things about Patrick Mahomes. Like, I know you're looking for motivation. You're looking for motivation. When the NFL came out with their top 100 players list, Patrick Mahomes was not number one. Patrick Mahomes, the best quarterback in the NFL, he was not the number one player on the top 200 players list. So that's motivation for Patrick Mahomes. It's motivation for him. So it's going to be a great matchup tonight. I will talk more about it here in a bit. Again, we here live at Jazz School, 610 Northland, 610 Northland. Here soon, we're going to have the Winton Warriors, 2-0 on the season. Beat Springfield week 1. They beat Kings week 2. So head coach Chad Murphy and some of the Winton Warriors will be here in the house with Wise Guys on Impact. I'll be right back.
Ready?
And welcome back here on Wise Guys Sports on Impact. We are here live, 610 Northland Boulevard here at Jazz School. It is a NFL Week 1 preview. Also, here shortly, we're going to have the Winwoods Warriors football team. Head coach Chad Murphy and some of his players will be here to talk some football. The Winwoods Warriors are off to a 2-0 start. They beat Springfield Week 1. Week 2, they beat Kings. So, happy to have them on here shortly. But everybody going to follow Wise Guys and on Impact Recruiting Services on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, you name it. Go and follow Wise Guys and on Impact Recruiting Services. So, with football, everyone's excited that football is back. Hoodie season is upon us. And with football, we get games Mondays, Thursday nights, Friday night. We got high school. Saturday, we got college football throughout the day. And then Sunday, we got our NFL football. High school, they are heading into week 3. And college is heading into week 2. But we have NFL Week 1. NFL kicks off their 2024 season tonight. And let's talk about this matchup. It's the Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson traveling to Kansas City to take on Patrick Mahomes and the defending Super Bowl champion Chiefs. The Chiefs are favored by 3 points. It's an 8:20 p.m. kickoff. The over-under for this matchup is 46.5. And I'm looking at this matchup between the Ravens and the Chiefs. Let's start off with the Ravens. Obviously, the Ravens are led by Lamar Jackson, the reigning NFL MVP. Last year, he had 24 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, 3,678 passing yards, completing 65% of his passes. He's a 2-time NFL MVP. He is the leader for the Baltimore Ravens. And one of the things about Lamar that I'm looking forward to seeing this year, because we know how great Lamar Jackson is. 2-time NFL MVP. He also is one of the more dynamic players in the NFL. And we know how great Lamar Jackson is in the regular season. But the biggest question for Lamar Jackson is, can he take that next step and elevate as a quarterback in the playoffs? I'm looking at Lamar Jackson and how he performs in the playoffs. He's 2-4 in the playoffs, 6 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 1,324 passing yards, completing 57% of his passes. For whatever reason, Lamar Jackson, his play declines once the Ravens reach the playoffs. We know year in and year out, the Baltimore Ravens will be in the playoffs. But can they get over that hump and get to a Super Bowl and win a Super Bowl? That's the biggest question right now for Lamar Jackson. We know Lamar Jackson is an elite quarterback. We know Lamar Jackson is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. And honestly, he's one of the most dynamic quarterbacks in NFL history. Like, when I think about Lamar Jackson, I think about Michael Vick. Remember Michael Vick with the Atlanta Falcons and how dynamic Michael Vick was? And it was perfect because I thought Michael Vick, he meshed well and blended well with that culture down there in Atlanta. Those Atlanta Falcons fans love Michael Vick. I don't care what nobody say. Michael Vick is beloved in the city of Atlanta. That's how Lamar Jackson is in Baltimore. They love Lamar. And the question for Lamar Jackson is, can he elevate his game in the playoffs and continue to play at an elite level? If he can, the Ravens can win a Super Bowl. They can win a Super Bowl with Lamar Jackson as their quarterback. He's already overcome the odds. I remember coming to the NFL, there were people that was saying that Lamar Jackson should switch to wide receiver. There were people saying that about Lamar. Like, oh, he can't play quarterback in the NFL. And Lamar Jackson been balling ever since he came to the NFL. 125 touchdowns, 45 interceptions, 15,887 passing yards. For his career, he completed 65% of his passes. And I think because people question whether Lamar Jackson could throw the ball from the pocket, I think that's why last year in the AFC Championship game, I think that's why he had 37 pass attempts. Because Lamar and the Ravens, they wanted to make a point that, Lamar can throw the ball from the pocket, but that's the problem. When they get to the playoffs, you got to do what got you there. I was always taught, dance with who got you there. The Ravens should have continued to run the football with Lamar Jackson. You can mix in the pass, but Lamar Jackson's strength is using his legs, not his arm. Can he throw the football from the pocket? He can throw the football from the pocket, but he doesn't have anything to prove. And I thought last year that's why the Ravens lost the AFC Championship game. Because they were trying to prove a point that Lamar could be a pocket passer. As great as Lamar Jackson is, he'll never be a great pocket passer like Tom Brady. He'll never be a great pocket passer like Peyton Manning. But in his own way, Lamar Jackson can be great and be a dynamic football player and help the Ravens win games. And so I think this year, the Ravens need to really be intentional about having Lamar Jackson use his strength and run the football, and also throwing the pass here and there as well, but continue to run the football. Okay? Now look at the Kansas City Chiefs. Obviously, the Kansas City Chiefs, they are the reigning, defending Super Bowl champions. Last year, Patrick Mahomes, 27 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, 4,183 passing yards. He completed close to 67% of his passes last year. But throughout the season last year, the Chiefs' offense was inconsistent. They were inconsistent. Patrick Mahomes was frustrated, and you could tell the Chiefs' offense, they weren't hitting on all cylinders in 2023 like they had in previous years. We saw Patrick Mahomes, he was frustrated, and they had some bad losses last year. I know the Packers beat the Chiefs in like week 11, week 12. They lost late in the season to the Las Vegas Raiders, a team that didn't even make the playoffs. And so they had some tough losses last year. And we went into the playoffs last year, and everybody was saying, there's no way the Chiefs get back to the Super Bowl win. There's no way. There's no way the Chiefs are going to win a Super Bowl with the way their offense is currently playing. And I had them beat the Dolphins. I'm pretty sure everybody had them beat the Dolphins because Tua struggles playing in cold weather. So I had them beat the Dolphins. But what shocked me was when they rolled into Buffalo and they beat another elite quarterback in Josh Allen, and they beat the Buffalo Bills. That surprised me. I thought the Bills were going to finally beat the Chiefs in the playoffs. Because we know over the last few years, what's been the biggest reason why the Bills have not made the Super Bowl? Because Josh Allen can't beat Patrick Mahomes. And I thought his best chance was last year. And Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs rolled into Buffalo, and they beat the Buffalo Bills yet again in the division round of the playoffs and went to the AFC Championship game. and then they went on to the Super Bowl and beat the 49ers. But I expect the Chiefs offense to be better this year. They drafted Xavier Worthy. Okay, you still got Travis Kelce, the best tight end in NFL history. You still got Rasheed Rice. I thought Rasheed Rice showed flashes last year. He wasn't consistent, but he showed flashes that he could be a number one receiver. They did bring back Juju Smith-Schuster. They had him on their Super Bowl run when they beat the Eagles in 2022. He went and signed with the Patriots. I'm pretty sure he got tired of losing. So he came back to the Chiefs. So they got Juju Smith-Schuster back. In their backfield, you still got Pacheco, who I like, who runs with force. So I expect, with Patrick Mahomes at quarterback, with Andy Reid as their play caller, I expect this Chiefs offense to become a high-powered offense again. Last year, the Chiefs didn't win throwing for 300 passing yards and 3 or 4 touchdowns for Patrick Mahomes. Last year, their winning formula was different. Last year, they were running the football more, and it was more of a ball control type of philosophy for the Chiefs than scoring a lot of points. I think this year, they want to get back to scoring a lot of points and being able to put points up on the board. And I like the defense. Okay, you still got Chris Jones. He's an elite defensive tackle in the NFL. Defensively, they're led by Steve Spagnuolo, who's one of the best defensive coordinators in the NFL. So I thought last year in the AFC Championship game, I thought Steve Spagnuolo, he did a great job with his game plan for Lamar Jackson. He really did. So we don't really give Steve Spagnuolo enough credit because during this Chiefs dynasty, we talk about Patrick Mahomes. We talk about Travis Kelce. We used to talk about Tyreek Hill. We talk about Andy Reid. We don't talk enough about Steve Spagnuolo, the defensive coordinator for the Chiefs. I think he's an unsung hero for this Kansas City Chiefs football team. So the defense will be good. Chiefs will definitely be the favorites to win the AFC West. I don't think none of those teams in the AFC West are going to compete with the Chiefs. Let's be real. The Raiders, they don't have a quarterback that I believe is consistent enough to beat the Chiefs or plays consistent enough. They got Gardner Minshew, okay, but the Broncos got Bo Nix. I like Bo Nix though. Bo Nix has shown flashes in the preseason for sure, but I gotta see more from Bo Nix. We know Sean Payton is a Super Bowl winning head coach, and I think Sean Payton is excited to have a Bo Nix as his quarterback. Because I think Bo Nix reminds Sean Payton of Drew Brees. We know he's not as great as Drew Brees was, but he reminds him of Drew Brees. So the Broncos will be better, but they're not better than the Chiefs. The Chargers got Jim Harbaugh now as their head coach, which was a great pickup by the Chargers. We know Jim Harbaugh last year. He won the national championship at the University of Michigan. Also, previously coached in the NFL with the 49ers. I think the 49ers got to the Super Bowl in 2012, 2013, and they lost to John Harbaugh and the Baltimore Ravens. It was a Harbaugh Bowl. So Jim Harbaugh has had success in the NFL, had success at college. So the Chargers going to be good too, but they're not going to be on the Chiefs level. They're not going to compete in the AFC West for the division crown, but they'll compete for a wild card spot. They'll be better later down the road, but this matchup tonight between the Ravens and the Chiefs, AFC Championship rematch, Lamar Jackson versus Patrick Mahomes, John Harbaugh versus Andy Reid. It's the best of the best in the AFC. We're going to talk more about it here in a bit. Wise Guys Sports on Impact here at Northland, 610 Northland Boulevard. I'll be right back.
3, 2, 1, go.
And welcome back to Wise Guys and On Impact Recruiting Services. We're here at 610 Northland Boulevard, 610 Northland Boulevard here at Jazz School. We're here talking some football. We're all excited and happy that our football is back. We got week 1 kickoff tonight, AFC Championship rematch. Lamar Jackson and the Ravens taking on Patrick Mahomes and defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. 8:20 p.m. kickoff on NBC. Go and check that game out. Lamar Jackson versus Patrick Mahomes. And then tomorrow we got Packers versus Eagles on Peacock. Big time matchup in Brazil. And everyone here local here in Cincinnati, I know everyone is excited about the Patriots-Bengals matchup Sunday here at Paycor Stadium. So that's a great football this weekend in the NFL. We heading into week 3 in high school and week 2 in college. And here shortly, I'm going to have the Winwoods Warriors and head coach Chad Murphy talking some football. They beat Springfield week 1. Week 2, they beat Kings. So we're going to bring some of the Winwoods football players on and talk some football here shortly. But everybody's excited that football is back. It's something that we all have programmed our lives around. Let's just be real. We all love our football, man. You know, Mondays, Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. It's all about football. It's all about football. If you a family man out there, Tuesday and Wednesday is when you spend your time with the kids, your family. Because we all know Monday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday is about football. Because Friday night, we got the high school football players balling out, playing at a high level. Saturday, we got the college football players playing at a high level all throughout Saturday. And then Sunday, we got NFL football. So I talked a little bit earlier about the matchup in Kansas City tonight. Let's transition and talk a little bit about the matchup tomorrow night in Brazil. It's Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers taking on Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles are favored by 3 points. It's an 8:15 p.m. kickoff on Peacock. The over-under for the matchup is 48.5. So, as I look at this matchup, let's start off with the Packers. Last year, Jordan Love had 32 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, 4,159 passing yards. He completed 64% of his passes. I thought last year, and this is the thing, I'm going to just let everybody know now, that I am a Packers fan. So, last year, as a Packers fan, heading into the season last year, Packer fans were unsure about Jordan Love because we went from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers, and we were unsure about Jordan Love. And midway through the season, we went from unsure and being optimistic at the beginning of the season to midway through. We were thinking, is this guy our future franchise quarterback? I remember calling a couple of my cousins and saying, hey, I don't know if Jordan Love is going to be our quarterback next year. I don't know how much longer I can take him struggling the way that he was. So we went from being optimistic to start the season to being unsure midway through to at the end of the season, by season's end, we were for certain that Jordan Love is the franchise quarterback for the Packers moving forward. And the Packers organization also felt that way. They gave Jordan Love a new deal. Jordan Love is now I think he got the biggest contract in NFL history. So the Packers paid Jordan Love. And last year, I thought towards the end of the season and even in the playoffs, for a game and a half in the playoffs before the second half against the 49ers, I thought Jordan Love was playing at a high level. He was playing at a very high level. And we saw this young receiving core for the Packers start playing well as well. You had Jada Reed, got Dontavius Wicks, Romeo Doubs, Christian Watson when he decides to play. We saw all 4 of these guys playing at an elite level. They rolled into Dallas last year and beat Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and Jerry Jones in Dallas. Balled out. The game, the final score I think was 48-32, but the score really was 48-16 because by the second half the Packers just was playing pretty big, didn't want to get anybody injured. Packers went on to lose to the 49ers in the division round of the playoffs. They played well most of that game. Jordan Love struggled in the second half, but it was a lot to build off of for the Packers heading into this season. In free agency, they picked up Josh Jacobs on offense. Defensively, they picked up Xavier McKinney. Okay, they drafted Javon Bullard as well at safety. In that secondary, you got Jair Alexander, you got Eric Stokes, you got Xavier McKinney now, and Javon Bullard. I like the Packers secondary. And that linebacker, you got Eric Wilson, you got Quay Walker. Okay, and as your pass rushers, you still got Rashawn Gary and Kenny Clark as your D tackle. So I like the Packers defense. Offensively, though, I think that's where the strength of the Packers is. You got Josh Jacobs in the backfield now, and they still got a nice young but not proven receiver core. They still got a lot to prove. We'll see if they can live up to the hype that everyone's been talking about throughout the offseason. Now, let's talk about the Philadelphia Eagles. Last year, the Philadelphia Eagles, they finished the season 11-6. They started off the season hot. They were 10-1 at one point last year. But over the last 6 or 7 games, they struggled. They got to the playoffs, and they got beat by Baker Mayfield. That's how you know it's bad. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, led by Baker Mayfield, they beat Jalen Hurts and the Eagles. So as I watched the Eagles last year, I just felt like their chemistry was off. Remember, this is an Eagles team that got to the Super Bowl in 2022. The Eagles almost beat the Chiefs in 2022, a very competitive Super Bowl. We all watched it. Jalen Hurts was balling in the Super Bowl. He was balling. They almost beat Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, and it was a high-scoring affair. Jalen Hurts was, they were going, it was nip and tuck with the Chiefs all game long. But I thought last year, for whatever reason, I thought the Eagles, as an overall football team, once we got into the later stages of the season, they just fell apart. They fell apart. And defensively, that's where I feel like they really, really were struggling the most. I thought defensively, their secondary, it was pretty bad last year. It was pretty bad. Now, they did bring back C.J. Gardner-Johnson in free agency. He played with the Eagles a few years back, went to the Lions, came back this year. So C.J. Gardner-Johnson should help them in the secondary. They signed Devin Wright in free agency. He's the former linebacker for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He was with Tom Brady when they won their Super Bowl a few years ago. So we expect the Eagles to be better in 2024 compared to what they were last year. We know Jalen Hurts is a dynamic quarterback. Last year, 23 touchdowns, 15 interceptions, okay? But I also felt like he was injured last year. So I think that's also a part of the reason why they were struggling. But I'm interested to see how the Eagles play this year, because some people believe in 2022, their defense didn't match up against any elite quarterbacks. That's why they were able to have the success that they had. So let's see which Eagles team show up. Will it be the 2022 Eagles that got to the Super Bowl? And remember, when they got to the Super Bowl in the NFC Championship game against the 49ers, Brock Purdy got injured, and the 49ers didn't even have any quarterbacks. I think I saw a few plays in the NFC Championship game that year when Christian McCaffrey was taking snaps. That's how bad it got for the 49ers. So which Eagles team is going to show up this season? We're going to find out tomorrow night in Brazil. Packers, Eagles favored by 3 points, 8:15 p.m. kickoff, over under 48.5 points in Brazil. But I'm Trey Larkins, Wise Guys Sports. Everybody go and follow Wise Guys on Impact Recruiting Services on social media. Again, I'm going to be bringing on some Linwood football players. We're going to talk some football, also with head coach Chad Murphy. I'll be back here shortly.
My superpower is probably patience and encouragement. These days, kids are feeling really inadequate. They're not feeling like they have it in them to do something they've never done before. We need to create a place that was hands-on, that was a fun environment, that allowed kids to be creative and allowed kids a safe place to get it wrong. What drives me are those aha moments, those moments where you see the kid, they get it. And I tell you what, I live for that moment. Because when you give them an opportunity to approach it at their level and then add in sprinklings of the challenge, and they've got to kind of race themselves and maybe other students in order to get there, they're tenacious about it. They're excited about it. And when they achieve it, that is the greatest joy. That is what the Cincy STEM Lab is all about. Our job is about helping them build their confidence. It's about making the learning process different, fun, and very approachable. And STEM and science and tech and engineering and math is becoming a lot less scary to them. The problems that we are facing in the 21st century with climate change and access to electricity and energy, these are the jobs that have the money. We have to have all hands on deck for that type of work. And that is what we are here to do, to expose students, no matter how little money you have to how much money you have, how much you think you know and how much you don't know, and to help build their confidence so that they are ready to step out in STEM and say, here I am, this is exactly where I was supposed to be.
And welcome back to Wise Guys and On Impact Recruiting Services here live at Jazz Spoon. We are here at 610 Northland Boulevard, and I am now here joined by the Winwoods Warriors. We have Justin Hill, Cain, Landen Anderson, Raphael Green, and head coach Chad Murphy. So, Coach, I'll start off with you. The Warriors, now start off the season 2-0. Y'all beat Springfield in week 1, and y'all beat Kings week 2. So, what was your biggest takeaway for your football team earning those first 2 wins of the season against Springfield and against Kings?
Well, I think the biggest takeaway is probably we just haven't played even close to our capabilities. You know what I mean? And can go to Springfield week 1 and be a team that's played the D1 state championship in the last 3 years. You know what I mean? And not play a real crisp game, and still come out with the victory. And then I can say the same thing too, where statistically speaking, we did enough wrong to lose that game. You know what I mean? But we still win a football game 19-5. Defense has just been unbelievable thus far in the first couple games. You know, it's been really, really good since we've been here. It's been really, really good for both years. So we're going to hang our hat on championship defense. There's no ifs or buts about that. But excited, to that.
Raphael, you want to expand upon that a little bit about the first 2 weeks and your thoughts on y'all first 2 wins this season?
How the coach said, it's just little stuff that we got to work on as an offense, as a team for sure. Little mistake, and honestly, that big of a gap from the game. We're not playing the hard like we're playing down the team we play against. So mostly we pick up with those little mistakes, those little things.
If I want to add to that a little bit.
I'll just say the same thing our coach and Raphael said. Our offense picked it up. We're the best team. If we put 21 points on the board first half, obviously we just be playing catch up and whatever, and it just made it in our favor at that point. Once we get to that level, it's tough from there.
Now let's talk about y'all defense. Against the Springfield and against Kings, y'all held both of those teams to 11 total points. So what has been the biggest contributing factor to the success that y'all have had as a team overall on the defensive side of the ball?
There's still been a couple mistakes or whatever, but making teams run east and west instead of downhill, because ain't nobody, we got too much team speed, people to be beating us going sideways or whatever, Pretty much, we got good guys all around the board, whoever comes in, step up as always, it's all that stuff.
Len, you want to talk more about it?
On a different point that Cain, I feel like what makes our defense a championship defense is that we move as a unit. We love each other on and off the field. We hold each other to a higher standard. and accountability. Like accountability is a really hot thing in our defense, and I'm glad that it's a top priority because if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't be the defense we are.
Yeah, off of what Landen said, we just all on the same page. Our defensive coordinator, Carlton Gray, he really puts us in spots to make plays every game. And as long as we're doing the little things like writing down things in film that he says and just watching film on our own and clicking during practice, going 110%, I feel like we're going to continue to be one of the best teams, defenses, and teams in the state.
Now, y'all play in the Eastern Cincinnati Conference with teams like Anderson, Lebanon, Milford, Turpin. So how important is it to get off to a good start at the beginning of the season? I'll start off with you, Justin.
It's definitely big. I mean, you got the powerhouses like Kings and Milford and Anderson that are going to get you around for your money. And I mean, early on, we had a pretty tough schedule in our conference. We got Anderson later on in the year, week 9, but I feel like we're doing pretty good as a team. When we start to pick it up and do the little things right, is when I feel like we'll all come together and start really blowing teams out of the water.
Then you want to talk more about that?
What I feel like is with a good start, I know everybody not looking that far down the road, but I know if we get a good start to the season and stack the wins that we're supposed to, and get smart in the playoffs, especially since we moved up to Division 1.
Yeah, I've coached in the GMC, I've coached in the GCL. I don't think the ECC gets the credit it deserves. I think it's a really good conference. Last year in 23, Milford was number 1 in the region in Division 1, after week 10, and Anderson was number 1 in the region in Division 2. So, the top 2 teams in League 1 and League 2 in Southwest Ohio in our regions came from the ECC. So, I think there's some really good coaching. I think there's some good players. It's a dogfight. We've been back and forth with Anderson. We've been back and forth with Kings the last couple of years. Milford got us last year. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, we're not going to take one for granted. Every Friday night's going to be the most important game of the season.
Now, I have a lot of defensive players up here. My man Raphael plays offensive line, but I got a lot of defensive players up here. So from a defensive standpoint, what do you guys feel like is the most important element as a defense? Is it being able to stop the run first? Is it stopping the passing game? What do y'all feel like is the most important phase of the game that you got to stop when you're trying to become an elite defense?
Like I said earlier, once we establish that we can stop the run and make teams play catch up and try to pass the ball, they're not going to be able to pass on. We got amazing DBs like Keontae Stewart, Damiel Rogers, Darian Lopez. We got a safety trying to learn. He's very long and all that trying to learn. And anybody, our DB, we all clean up each other's mess. So us being able to count on each other and all that, it just makes our defense even more better, especially since we've been playing since we've been younger. This is the same thing.
Yeah, for sure. The chemistry, the chemistry, for sure. And offensively, I seem like I want to get better on offense. Of course, Raphael, what do you feel like as a member of the offense? What do you feel like is the most important element of the offense that y'all have to get better at? Is it the running game, so it can create the pass, or the passing game, or is it the passing game? Which element offensively do you feel like y'all need to get better at as an offense to put up more points?
I feel like one aspect is the offensive line. I feel like we got a lot of young guys in there that are really pushing to get better. Communication between us and the whole offense, accountability, and just physical toughness. That starts with us, the offensive line. So I feel like once we get that down, we got great coaching staff, and everybody's there for us. So it's really up to us, obviously. As soon as we get that down, it's early on in the year, but as soon as we get that down, we'll start to go.
Going off of what Ralph said, we got great coaching, but the main point is that we're only one mistake away on offense from making big plays. We're not far off. The offense is going to get better, and they're going to score.
Want to talk about that a little more, Coach? Offense.
Yeah, I mean it's there. It's kind of like a puzzle. And putting that puzzle together, sometimes takes a little longer than you want to. Pieces are there. Last Friday night it really came down to. We had a couple, 2 or 3 drops. We had 2 or 3 misses from the quarterback position. Those were about 200 yards of offense in those plays. You know what I mean? So, until we seize the moment, you know, to make good plays, we're going to let people hang around. And eventually, you know, that thing comes back to bite you. So, but we get the best. You know, Coach Gray is the best defensive coordinator in the state of Ohio. Greg Forrest is the best offensive coordinator. There's not Greg Forrest, our offensive coordinator, was with Brian Kelly for 20 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's a Division I guy. You know, our kids. It's amazing what our kids get to see on a daily basis. Offensive standpoint, the defensive standpoint. I sit back and I watch film. You know, I'm the head coach now. I don't have to do anything offensively. You know, I can sit back and do a lot of observation, and it's really a beautiful picture. See what the development of our kids, not just young people, students, but as football players. It's fun to watch. So.
Yeah, I played football when I was younger as well, and I see this a lot. For whatever reason, at the beginning of the season, I think the offenses, I'm not sure if you guys agree with this, offense takes a little while to get into a rhythm with their timing, with routes, receivers are running, and the timing with running backs and with getting carries and stuff. Defensively, when you got players like Justin Hill and Cain and Landen Anderson, you just say, hey, tee off. Let's go make something happen, create a play, make something happen. I think offense takes a little bit of time to get to a rhythm. Would you agree with that, Coach?
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, there's no doubt. But I don't want to be using that too much longer. Early is going to be not so early, pretty soon. You know what I mean? So, yeah. But I got all the faith. And like I said, it's just awesome to have some guys sitting up there on this defense that just play lights out. And you can hear when they talk. You know what I mean? Yeah. This is a special group of young guys, man, that I'm blessed to be around.
Now, y'all have Milford this week, and similar to y'all, they are 2-0. What are y'all expectations for this week's matchup against Milford? Go around. Just want to say something about it.
Well, I know what mine is. Mine's just win, baby. You know what I mean? It's just we got to get it done. You know, one way or another. All the confidence in the world.
Years prior, it's been a physical team. Really a defensive battle over the last 2 years when I played. So we know we're gonna have to hit and we're gonna have to be physical with the guys. I mean, they're not gonna come and bow down to us per usual. So we just gotta be physical out there. That's gonna be like the one part. Obviously, we're gonna start clicking offensively and defensively. So just physicality can be the main point.
Going off of what he said, we just got to go in and make a point, set the point of premises that we the most physical team, we're going to be the better team, and we're going to dominate the whole night. Once the defense set the point, I know the offense is going to make their mark, and I know they're going to score
the ball. These teams are like they beat us off. We can't beat them. We beat them off mistake. So like these teams are disciplined or whatever. That's how they plan on beating us because they call us like African American school. So we're going to be undisciplined. They just gonna catch us slipping or something like that, like the fake screens and all of that. So I just think us staying disciplined and all that just help us beat them or whatever.
I know the preparation we take in this week is watching film, working on what they're going to do, seeing what they're going to do. I feel like we just come out and be physical from the jump. Running the ball for sure, taking some of the pass for us. I mean, we just have to be physical. That's all that has to be. Other things we need to do, watch film,
Now, Milford in weeks 1 and 2, they scored a combined total of 71 points. So, what will be the key defensively? Because you got to get it to stops. This team like Milford, what will be the key defensively for your football team?
Their run game is like a big part of their game. You know, they got awesome running back or whatever. They like to cut up. They got it's a simple scheme, but it's a scheme that most teams can't, grasp onto. But I just feel like as soon as we stop their run and make them pass the ball, they won't be able to pass on us.
Going off of what Devon said, just going and stop the run, and when we force them to pass situations, Coach Gray's a great defensive coordinator, he'll make a great call. So when the play come up, it's just on you to make the play.
Yeah, a lot of screen play. I feel like as long as we're disciplined, we're gonna be fine defensively. Like I said, being physical, but yeah, being disciplined.
Now, Coach Murphy told me that you guys, including Delan, Massey, Wright, are the captains of the team. So I want each one of you to go around and explain how does it feel to be named a captain on this football team by the head coach?
It's an honor and a blessing, man, to just continue the standard of what football really is. Last year I was a captain as a junior, and I mean it meant everything to me to be able to lead my guys. That
I've been with since forever. So it's definitely a blessing. To say the least.
Nothing short of a blessing. From seeing the captain as a freshman and just looking up to him, all I want to do is step into that role and lead the same way that they did, leading to a state championship.
I'm just very proud of whatever, you know, we just, the years prior or whatever, captains have been like a big part of the, player-led teams what win championships or whatever. And, I feel like our captains or whatever are just being everybody heels or whatever about doing what they're supposed to do. And, we can be a championship team.
Let's take your leadership with the whole team, and mostly the offensive line. Like I said earlier, we have a young group, so just for them to look up to me and know that they can actually play from some things whatever, just to be able to help out younger guys on the team.
Yeah, for sure. So last year, y'all went 8-3 in the regular season, lost to Withrow in the playoffs. But this is for you, Coach Murphy. Is there any carryover from last season into this season that can help y'all as a football team, or is it just different year to year?
Well, there's always some carryover, but every group's different. Every senior class is different. Every team's different. But yeah, there's some carryover because I think where we get the opportunity to coach and play football at it's a special place. I've been around. I've been around this place for 30 plus years. It's just just held to the higher standard. So that's our opportunity. I'm blessed to not only coach the football, but to do the work doing it. But I think every guy sitting at this table's got a little storage compartment. I'm not sure what aisle or row it's in their mind, but we got to remember some things about last year. We turned our equipment in too early last season, and everybody sitting up here, I can guarantee that it's got a little bit of taste of that from last season.
For sure. Here joining me are the Wentwoods Warriors, Justin Hill, Devon Cain, Landen, Anderson, Raphael Green. I'm Trey Larkins with Wise Guys Sports. We're on Impact Recruiting Services. We'll be right back.
1, 2, 3.
And welcome back to Wise Guys and On Impact Recruiting Services here live at Jazz Spoon, 610 Northland Boulevard. Just had on the Wynwoods Warriors, the 2-0 Wynwoods Warriors, that is, led by head coach Chad Murphy. Was excited and happy to have the Wynwoods football team here. Had a few of the players, Justin Hill, Devon Cain, Landen Anderson, Raphael Green. So I want to give a big shout out to head coach Chad Murphy and his players for coming on, talking some football. Wynwoods Warriors 2-0 on the season. They beat Springfield week 1, beat Kings week 2. Got a big matchup week 3 against Milford. So Milford at Wynwoods tomorrow night. Definitely excited about that matchup. But we are heading into NFL week 1. It's the NFL kickoff tonight. It's Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens taking on Patrick Mahomes and the defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs are favored by 3 points. It's an 8:20 p.m. kickoff. The over-under for this matchup is 46.5 points. So we're going to talk some football for the last 15 minutes here tonight. And I'm going to give everyone my NFL week 1 wise picks and just give my predictions for each game that's going on in week 1 in the NFL. But let's talk about this Ravens-Chiefs matchup. It's an AFC Championship rematch. Lamar Jackson versus Patrick Mahomes. And last year, the Chiefs beat the Ravens 17-10. Lamar Jackson, I think he went 20 of 37, and he had over 200 passing yards. Patrick Mahomes went 30 of 39, threw for 241 passing yards, 1 touchdown. And so I thought last year, one of the reasons why the Ravens lost was because they got away from what got them to that point of the season. One of the strengths of the Baltimore Ravens has been, since Lamar Jackson came into the NFL, the strength of the Ravens has been their rushing attack with Lamar Jackson and whoever at running back, you can throw him in there. It don't matter who it is. But Lamar Jackson has been the leader and the best player on the Baltimore Ravens offense. And the strength of their football team is their rushing attack. But for whatever reason, head coach John Harbaugh, offensive coordinator Todd Monken, they thought that Lamar Jackson was Tom Brady last year in the AFC Championship game. And Lamar Jackson's 37 pass attempts was way too many pass attempts. He only had 8 rushing attempts for the game. And we know that Lamar Jackson can throw the football from the pocket. But because NFL analysts and fans say that Lamar Jackson is not a pure pocket passer, I feel like the Ravens wanted to prove a point. That's why they had Lamar Jackson drop back the pass 37 times last year in the AFC Championship game. And it cost them an opportunity to get to the Super Bowl. I thought defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo for the Chiefs had a great game plan. And the Ravens and what they were doing in that game played right into the hands of the Chiefs in their game plan. And Lamar Jackson, to me, threw the ball way too many times. The Ravens, if they want to have a chance to beat the Chiefs, they got to get back to what they do best. They got to run the football. You got Derrick Henry now in the backfield, okay? Derrick Henry, when he's healthy, even though he's up in age, Derrick Henry is a top 5 running back in the NFL. I'm going to say it again. Derrick Henry is a top 5 running back in the NFL. So, tonight, John Harbaugh, Todd Monken, stick to the running game. And you throw the football off of your running game. You don't throw the football and expect your running game to build off of that. No, you have your passing game build off your running game, okay? And so I think that's going to be the key for the Ravens. Run the football with Derrick Henry. You still got Zay Flowers at receiver. You still got Mark Andrews at tight end, okay? They did lose 3 of their members of that offensive line from last year. So I'm interested to see how that impacts them this year. But this Chiefs defense, they are the real deal. They are the real deal. They got Chris Jones up front, okay? And they're led by defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo, who's an unsung hero for the Chiefs. And we know the Chiefs, with Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, they've been the best team over the last 3 years in the NFL. They've been the best team. And last year, they got to the Super Bowl. They beat the 49ers. And it was crazy because I was surprised that Chiefs made the Super Bowl. Last year, they struggled throughout the regular season. They were inconsistent. Got to the playoffs. They beat Tua and the Dolphins in the wild card round, which I expected. They beat Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills in the divisional round, which caught me by surprise because I thought if there was ever going to be a time when Josh Allen finally beats Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs, I thought it was going to be last year. And the Chiefs still beat the Bills last year when it mattered the most. And they got to the AFC Championship. They beat Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, and they went on to win the Super Bowl. But you look at the Chiefs as a team. They drafted Xavier Worthy, who has great speed. And he's going to have a lot of opportunities in this Chiefs offense to make big plays. You still got Rasheed Rice, okay? You still got Travis Kelce, the best tight end in the NFL, the best tight end in NFL history. And you got Patrick Mahomes back there flinging that football with Andy Reid as a play caller. So it's a big-time matchup, Ravens-Chiefs. I'm going to roll with the Baltimore Ravens beating the Chiefs tonight in an upset. I think Lamar wants his revenge. So I'm rolling with Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. And they want to beat Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. I'm going Lamar Jackson, 28. Patrick Mahomes, 24. Let's transition to the matchup tomorrow night in Brazil. It's Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers taking on Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles are favored by 3 points. It's an 8:15 p.m. kickoff on Peacock. The over-under for this matchup is 46.5 points. I'm definitely excited for this matchup. Jordan Love versus Jalen Hurts. Josh Jacobs versus Saquon Barkley. And Matt LaFleur versus Nick Sirianni, the head coaches for this matchup. It's a big-time matchup for the Packers and Eagles. Both teams are playing in Brazil. It's the first ever NFL game that's going to be played in Brazil. And this is tomorrow night on Peacock. That's the only thing I don't like about this game. It's on Peacock. I don't understand why the NFL continues to put games on Peacock. No one wants to watch football on Peacock. We watch Bel Air and other shows on Peacock. We don't want to watch football on Peacock. We want to watch our football on CBS and Fox and ESPN, not Peacock. That's the only thing that's kind of odd for that game. But I'm looking at this matchup. Last year, I thought Jordan Love and the Packers, they had a great end to the season. They overachieved last year. They finished 9-8 in the regular season. They got to the playoffs. They blew out the Dallas Cowboys in Jerry World. They got to the divisional round, and they lost to the 49ers. But it was a very competitive football game. It really, really was. A very, very competitive game. A lot to build off of if you're the Packers. Okay? They're the youngest team in the NFL. At quarterback, you got Jordan Love. Running back, you got Josh Jacobs, who they brought in free agency. I think Josh Jacobs is an upgrade over Aaron Jones. He's younger than Aaron Jones. And anytime you get younger at the running back position, that will improve your football team. At receiver, you got Christian Watson. You got Romeo Dobbs. You got Dontavius Wicks. You got Jaden Reed. So they have a young but elite receiving corps. They got at least 4 or 5 receivers in their offense who can make plays for Jordan Love. Okay? Now, defensively, the Packers, they signed Xavier McKinney in free agency. They drafted Javon Bullard to pair alongside McKinney as their safeties. Okay? At DB, you still got Jair Alexander, one of the top cornerbacks in the NFL. You still got Eric Stokes. Okay? As your pass rushers, you still got Rashad Garrett, Preston Smith, Lucas Van Ness, Kenny Clark. So I like the Packers as an overall football team. A lot of expectations for the Packers this year. The Packers last year, they stuck up on some teams. This year, they're no longer the hunters or the hunted now. Packers are no longer the hunted, they're the hunters now. So they were hunters last year. This year they'll be the hunted. And I'm just going to see how they play this year. Now the Eagles ended the season bad last year. They started out the season 10-1, finished 11-6, lost wild card weekend to the Buccaneers, but they still got Jalen Hurts. They brought in Saquon Barkley via free agency. And at receiver, you still got A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. You brought in Dotson from the Commanders, okay? They're going to have to replace Jason Kelsey with Jurgens. That's the new center for the Eagles. So I'm going to see how the offensive line plays now that they no longer have Jason Kelsey, the leader of that offensive line. So I'm interested to see how the Eagles' offensive line play. Now, defensively, their secondary was atrocious last year. They were bad. And that was one of the reasons why the Eagles struggled so bad last year towards the end of the season. So they brought back C.J. Gardner-Johnson. They also brought in Devin Wright, the former Tampa Bay Buccaneer. So I expect the Eagles to be better defensively. It's going to be a great game between the Packers and the Eagles tomorrow night. If you're a betting man or woman out there, go and take the over. I think it's going to be a high-scoring affair, but I'm rolling with Jordan Love and the Packers to upset the Eagles. I'm going Packers 31, Eagles 24. Now, let's roll through the rest of these games for Week 1 in the NFL. Will Levis and the Tennessee Titans, they are traveling to Chicago to take on Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears. The Bears are favored by 4.5 points. It's a 1 o'clock kickoff in Chicago at Soldier Field. The over-under for this matchup is 45.5. This is my upset pick of the week. I'm rolling with the Tennessee Titans to pull off the upset against Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears. I'm going Titans 21, Bears 20. The Pittsburgh Steelers are traveling to Atlanta to take on Kirk Cousins and the Falcons. It's a 1 o'clock kickoff in Atlanta. The Falcons are favored by 3.5 points. The over-under for this matchup is 40.5. Mike Tomlin named Russell Wilson his starting quarterback. So, as I look at this match, I feel like the Falcons are a better football team than the Steelers are. The Falcons have a better quarterback than the Steelers have. Kirk Cousins is better than Wilson and Fields. So with that being said, I'm rolling with the Falcons to beat the Steelers. I go Falcons 27, Steelers 14. Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars are traveling to Miami to take on Tua and the Dolphins. The Dolphins are favored by 3 points. It's a 1 o'clock kickoff. The over-under for this matchup is 50.5. If you are betting on this game, take the over. It's going to be a high-scoring affair down there in Miami. Tua struggles in the cold, but it ain't going to be cold in Miami Sunday. So I'm rolling with the Miami Dolphins to beat the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'll go Dolphins 31, Jaguars 28. The New England Patriots are traveling here to the Queen City to take on Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals are favored by 9.5 points. It's a 1 o'clock kickoff here at Paycard Stadium. The over-under for this matchup is 40.5. I ain't going to spend too much time on this game. This is essentially a bye week for the Bengals. We'll see if Jamar Chase suits up. That's the biggest question right now when it comes to this game. But there ain't going to be no question as to who's going to win this game. Because Joe Burrow and the Bengals are going to take care of business. I'm going with the Bengals to beat the Patriots in blowout fashion. I'll go Bengals 31, Patriots 10. It's an AFC South battle in Indy. The Houston Texans, favored by 2.5 points. They're traveling to Indianapolis to take on Anthony Richardson and the Colts. It's a 1 o'clock kickoff. The over-under for this matchup is 49.5 points. This is going to be an exciting matchup, folks. The AFC South, I believe, has 3 teams that are going to contend for the playoffs. Texans, Colts, Jaguars. In that division, I believe C.J. Stroud will outlast Anthony Richardson in this particular matchup, but it won't be by much. I'm going Texans 27, Colts 24. The Minnesota Vikings, favored by 1.5. They're traveling to New York to take on Daniel Jones and the Giants. It's a 1 o'clock kickoff. Over-under for this matchup, 41.5 points. These two teams are not playoff teams in my eyes. This game is irrelevant. But I'm rolling the Vikings to beat the Giants in New York. I'll go Vikings 21, Giants 18. Only because the Vikings have Justin Jefferson and the Giants do not. I'm rolling with the Vikings 21-18. An NFC South battle in New Orleans. The Panthers and Bryce Young are traveling to New Orleans to take on the Saints. It's a 4.5 kickoff. I'm sorry, it's a 4.5. The Saints are favored by 4.5, brother. It's a 1 o'clock kickoff. The over-under for this matchup is 40.5. Saints are a better football team than the Panthers are. I don't have high expectations for the Saints this year, but they'll beat the Panthers. I'm going Saints 24, Panthers 21. Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals, they are traveling to Buffalo to take on Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. The Bills are favored by 5.5 points. It's a 1 o'clock kickoff in Buffalo. The over-under for this matchup is 48.5. The Arizona Cardinals are one of the worst teams in the NFL. The only thing I'm excited about when it comes to the Cardinals is Marvin Harrison Jr. I want to see how good he does this year and see how great he plays. And I want to see if he can establish himself as a top 15 receiver in the NFL. That's the only excitement coming out of Arizona. I roll with the Bills to beat the Cardinals 21-10. It's an AFC West matchup in LA. It's the Las Vegas Raiders traveling to LA to take on Justin Herbert and the LA Chargers. It's a 4:05 kickoff in LA. The Chargers are favored by 3.5 points. The over-under for this matchup is 42.5 points. This is Jim Harbaugh's debut as a head coach for the LA Chargers. I don't believe in the Raiders quarterback situation. I think Justin Herbert is a better quarterback than Gardner Minshew. So I'm rolling with the Chargers to beat the Raiders in Jim Harbaugh's coaching debut for the Chargers. I'll go Chargers 20, Raiders 13. The Denver Broncos are traveling to Seattle to take on Geno Smith and the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks are favored by 5.5 points. It's a 4:05 p.m. kickoff. The over-under for this matchup is 41.5. I'm rolling with Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos in an upset over the Seattle Seahawks. I'm going Broncos 24, Seahawks 20. The Dallas Cowboys and Dak Prescott, they're traveling here to Ohio to take on Deshaun Watson and the Cleveland Browns. The Browns are favored by 2.5 points. It's a 4:25 p.m. kickoff. The over-under for this matchup is 42.5. The Cowboys, they brought back CeeDee Lamb, gave CeeDee Lamb a new deal, 4 years, $136 million. So I expect CeeDee Lamb to play and perform at an elite level. I got questions about the Browns right now. No Nick Chubb for the first 4 games of the season. Deshaun Watson has been dealing with a nagging shoulder injury. I haven't seen Deshaun Watson show up yet in Cleveland like he showed up in Houston for the Texans. Therefore, I'm rolling with the Cowboys to beat the Browns. According to Vegas, this will be an upset, but it won't be an upset in my eyes. Cowboys are a better football team than the Browns are currently. Cowboys 24, Browns 13. The Monday night matchup, Aaron Rodgers returns to the field to take on Brock Purdy and the defending NFC champion San Francisco 49ers on ESPN. The 49ers are favored by 3.5 points. It's an 8:15 p.m. kickoff. The over-under for this matchup is 43.5. This is going to be a great matchup Monday night. The Jets have a complete football team. Okay, they bring back Aaron Rodgers. So I expect the Jets to be motivated, but it ain't going to be enough because I'm rolling with the 49ers to beat the Jets at home and protect their home field. I'm rolling with the 49ers in this matchup to beat the Jets 24-21, but it will be a close one in Santa Clara. So those are my NFL Week 1 Wise picks. Everybody go and follow Wise Guys and on Impact Recruiting Services, all on social media. Also, next week, same time, same place, here at Jazz School, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., 610 Northwood Boulevard. We'll be back here next week. We're going to preview Week 2 in the NFL, and we're going to bring on the Finneytown football team and talk some football with Finneytown next week here at Jazz School. Again, 610 Northland Boulevard, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Yours truly will be hosting alongside On Impact Recruiting Services as well. So go and follow Wise Guys and On Impact Recruiting Services on our social media platform. Everybody enjoy week 1 in the NFL, enjoy high school Friday night, and enjoy college Saturday. I'm Trey Larkins signing off. Have a great week, everybody.